Hello and welcome to the Renaissance English History Podcast, Tudor Minute, your mostly daily dose for all things related to medieval and Renaissance England. So today I'm going to talk about Margaret Beaufort. She's super cool. She's actually really the mother of the Tudor dynasty. Without her, there would be no Tudors. How boring would life be without no Tudors? Without any Tudors. Anyway, she was Henry VII's mother. And she's really worth knowing about because it was her firm belief for so long that she was divined, but that it was divined by God that Henry was going to be king. She fought for it her whole life, never stopped believing it. And she kind of is the person who sort of made Henry king, I suppose, by kind of working behind the scenes and never stopped believing it. So the Beauforts are descended from Edward III through his third son, John of Gaunt. So we're going back 100 years. And John of Gaunt had a very long time mistress called Catherine Swynford. And Catherine Swynford, actually, he later married her as well. It's very sweet. And so the Beaufort family is descended from the children of John of Gaunt and Catherine Swynford. They had been declared legitimate later in life, but they were barred from ever being able to claim the throne because they came from this sort of illicit relationship between John of Gaunt and Catherine Swynford. So the Beauforts were this kind of illegitimate family. They were nobility. They came from a king. A cow just mooed. Horse. Anyway, I don't know if you heard that. They were descended from kings, but they could never claim the throne themselves, according to what the law had been. So fast forward 100 years, Margaret Beaufort was an only daughter. So she was the sole heiress of what had become quite a powerful family and a lot of land. She was very, very wealthy. Her father died early on, and her wardship was given to a lot of people. It was back and forth. There was it was passed around, but a wardship was important because whoever was her ward was able to claim the money from her lands until she was old enough to claim it herself. And being a woman, they would have been able to arrange a marriage for her that would have been that would have been kind of advantageous to whoever it was that had the wardship. So Margaret eventually wound up being married to Edmund Tudor. So the Tudors, of course, come from this scandal that happened just after Henry VI died. No, after Henry V died, and his wife, Catherine of Valois, went off and married her squire. So this was like this huge thing. His name was Owen Tudor. He was a Welsh squire, and she married for love. She was still quite young. She was only like 21, and her husband dies, and she had been the queen, and then she runs off with this squire. I mean, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, the horror. It was actually, kind of a big deal. And she went on to have other children with him, the Tudors. And so the Tudors were actually the half brothers of the king of Henry VI. And he declared them legitimate as well. He gave them Margaret Beaufort's wardship. And Margaret Beaufort actually married Edmund Tudor. So he was way older than her, and she was only 12 when she got married. It was just the age of consent, and she got pregnant right away. Now, most men, if they married a 12-year-old girl, it was kind of conventional that they wouldn't have had sex with her right away. They would have let her stay possibly with her mother, or let her grow up a little bit more. But not Edmund Tudor. Edmund Tudor got her pregnant right away, and God bless her, she had a horrible delivery, like just terrible. If you're a woman and if you've gone through labor, let me tell you, you do not ever want to be in Margaret Beaufort's position. Sorry, my husband just messaged me on the phone. My daughter just woke up from her nap. Yay! Anyway, so Margaret Beaufort, 13 years old, giving birth to her son Henry. And it was just terrible, just really bad. She never had children anymore after that. And then Edmund goes off and dies. How polite was that of him? So there she is stuck with this baby, but of course she's wealthy, so she's not really stuck. But she got married again to the Stafford family, and then she was married for quite a while, never had any more children, and then he died, and then she got married. He died fighting for the Yorks, I believe. No, maybe the Lancastrians. I think I have to look. No, he died fighting for the Yorkists. So look at that. She was a Lancastrian and her husband was a Yorkist. So after that, she gets married to Thomas Lord Stanley. It doesn't matter who people died. Everybody's dying fighting for somebody. So then she gets married, Thomas Lord Stanley. Thomas Lord Stanley is like totally well known because he managed to survive the Wars of the Roses. He went back and forth. The one thing that was constant about Lord Stanley was that he was completely inconstant. You never knew if you could count on him or not. Well, he believed in Margaret's son's claim to the throne, and Margaret had sent Henry away out of England so that he would stay out of the civil war that was going on, out of the Cousins' War. And they worked behind the scenes, the two of them, to kind of pave the way. And after Edward IV died and Richard III was ruling, they kind of worked towards possibly bringing him back. And then when Henry Tudor finally set sail and he finally invades England, it was Thomas Lord Stanley, most people say, whose forces, even though his son was being held prisoner by Richard III, he threw his weight behind Henry Tudor and was actually the one who put the crown on Henry Tudor's head after he lobbed off Richard III's head. I don't think he actually lobbed off Richard III's head. He didn't. I know that. But anyway, so there's Margaret Beaufort sitting really pretty. Her son's the king. But of course, the Wars of the Roses just happened. Nobody realized that he had established this dynasty. It was all really still uncertain. And so that was that. Are they coming down here? Sorry. So nobody really knew for sure that it was going to be successful. But the one thing about Margaret Beaufort, then just moving on, she's a really pious woman. And she went on to declare a vow of chastity, even though she was still married. She didn't want to live with her husband anymore. She was kind of like, look, my son's the king. I don't have to do anything for anybody anymore. I'm just going to take care of myself and live on my own. And that's what she did. And God bless her for it. She rocked. And some people say she's probably the mother-in-law from hell to her daughter Elizabeth of York, because she didn't like playing second fiddle to anybody, because she was kind of like she should probably should have been queen herself, and now she's just the mother of a queen. So there were some tensions between Elizabeth Woodville and her. Elizabeth Woodville was the mother of the queen, and had been a queen, and so there's some tension there. But she just worked and worked and worked, and just unfailingly, just tirelessly, to get her son, to take care of him, to protect him, to keep him alive, and to make him king. So you should learn more about her. And I'll stick some links in. I did a podcast on her about 2 years ago. I'll stick a link below, up there somewhere. Anyway. Okay, so to learn more about the Renaissance English History Podcast, you should go to http://www.englandcast.com. That's englandcast.com. Or you can go to facebook.com/englandcast. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.